This one is a is another sad situation because the headlines read that a young man died over grass clippings in his driveway. And the story goes is that, the next door neighbor at this young man's house, his name is Alan Waller. And there was this ongoing dispute about the landscapers that were cutting the neighbor's yard, and his driveway is next to the neighbor's lawn. So when they cut the yard, somehow glass clippings get on the yard, or there's something else on there. I don't really have an understanding of what's on the driveway and what the sense of urgency is. But for this person, Alan Waller, he was upset about it. And supposedly this has been going on for a while. So he wanted to talk to the landscapers and show them this grass clippings in his driveway. So he had the neighbor bring over the landscapers. And I believe I saw two, maybe three. We'll see the video in just a second. And they had a discussion on the front porch. And then Alan Waller, and this is on camera, Alan Waller then took the landscapers around the corner, two or three, I believe. And then you're not seeing them on camera anymore. But you do see the neighbor start to run. And then after it's all done, supposedly Alan Waller has been shot, I believe 4 times in the chest. You see these other men who are the landscapers, they leave, and then that's basically the end of it there. But, and then so you think, because you're listening to the fiance, who they've been together for 6 years, I think they have kids together, she is saying that she's highly upset, for sure. And she is saying that he was killed in cold blood just over grass clippings. So you get the impression when you first hear this that Alan Waller went to show these men, and there was more than him. So he went to show these men these grass clippings. Some fight went about, and then one of these 3 men, or all of them, whatever happened, pulled out a gun and just shot him because he had brought to their attention what he had done. That's the impression you get. But as you listen to the story further, you find out that it was possibly a self-defense situation where it wasn't these people who did the grass, the landscapers, they wasn't the aggressors. It possibly could have been Alan Waller was the aggressor, for they're saying that he had actually pulled out a gun, started waving it, and possibly pointed it at one of the men's faces. And then because of that, there was self-defense involved, where I don't know who shot who, but one of the landscapers pulled out a gun and then shot him and killed him. And then there's further information as you read on that possibly Alan Waller has done this before, where he's waved this gun around. There was complaint from neighbors that he waved the gun around. And I heard his sister when she was in the interview, and she was really upset. And she had mentioned that he had just gotten out of the hood. He was just getting a good start for himself, and he was in this neighborhood, and now here this happens to him. And she had said cold-blooded killing. But as you listen to it, it doesn't look like it was a cold-blooded killing at all. Matter of fact, they didn't even arrest yet, as far as I know, the landscapers involved. The police say they're investigating, but as far as I know, they haven't been arrested. But what's sad though is that the choices that were made in this situation, particularly just from my listening by Alan Waller, and all of this could have been avoided. All of this could have been avoided. I see pictures of him and his family, him and his kids, and he's sitting there and they're so happy together, it looks like. And I say that because when we make choices in our lives, we can't just make it about us and our egos. We got to think about people that are closest to us. He's led, and I think I saw 2 or 3 kids in this picture, and those kids are going to be hurt severely because their father's gone, the provider, and the way he died in that front yard, in the driveway. And then 2, his fiance, she is so upset the way he died. But my question is, a couple questions. One is, why are these grass clippings that were in his driveway so important to Alan Waller? Why was this such a hot button to him? Was it because he had talked to them before and he felt nothing was done, or that he felt he was disrespected? Was he having a bad day? What was going on in his mind that made him so upset that when he went to talk to them, when he showed them, because they seemed like they cooperated, they came over, the neighbor brought him over to have a discussion, but then when they went around the building, it appears that he had a weapon. So I was just wondering what was going on here. What was the story he was telling himself? What kind of emotions was he having that he felt it necessary not only to take his gun with him, but to pull it out? That's my thought process. That's what I want to understand. I know when you have any type of conflict or any type of negotiations, you don't bring a weapon. You don't bring that kind of a threat. And the reason is because you can get so upset over the littlest things that it could escalate. And when it escalates, people scream, yell, they do things. But if you have a weapon on you, and if you're not able to control yourself at that moment, you may pull out that weapon and use it as a threat because you're so upset and you're caught up in the moment. Or you may even go as far as we've seen people do when they, not only did they pull out the weapon, but they use the weapon. Just caught in that moment, they use that weapon or they pull out their weapon and they basically ruin their life. Like in this case, he died because somebody else had a weapon. That's the thing we got to remember. You may have a weapon, but that other person may have a weapon too. You just don't know. So to me, it was such a poor choice. It's okay to have conflict. We have conflict. He doesn't like the clippings in his driveway. I'm not sure why it's important to him, but for whatever reason, it is important to him. I don't know how much clippings. I don't know what we're talking about here. Are we talking about trash? Are we talking about a lot of clippings? Are we just talking about blow over from a lot? I'm not sure what we're looking at here. But for whatever reason, he's upset about it. He wants to have a conversation. It is absolutely okay to have a conversation about it. And it's okay to have a conflict over it. Conflict is okay. You can have conflict with people, disagreements with people. You can make a stand. It's okay. But you never bring a weapon to a conflict. Never. You don't need a weapon. And you don't bring weapons to conflicts because you don't know how they're going to be. And you definitely won't pull them out. Conflicts bring out the worst in us sometimes. Road rage, we've seen it. And in this situation, so you choose to bring a weapon. So that was a huge mistake on his part, bringing a weapon. Standing up, talking about the grass clippings, whether you agree with it or not, no problem. But to bring that weapon, if that's what happened, this is what I'm reading, and then to pull it out, and then to wave it in somebody's face, if he did that, That's a huge mistake, because that mistake, that decision cost him his life. And you could never win in that situation, because even if you did, I'm not sure, what are you trying to accomplish pulling out the weapon? What are you saying to whoever you're talking to? What's the end game? Because even if he pulled out the weapon and he pointed it, and they put their hands up and said, they backed away and said, okay, no problem. Well, the police is still going to get involved. You still threaten somebody. Something's still going to happen to you. You might go to jail for a minute. Who knows what's going to happen? And that takes you away from your family. Or you have to fire the gun because somebody tries to wrestle the gun away from you, or the gun accidentally goes off. Then what happens? Again, jail, whatever, you're away from that family that loves you so much. The ones that I saw, the kids and the fiance, the sister. Poor decisions. It's best to go into a negotiation with nothing. And then when you go into negotiation, don't go for a win. Sometimes when you're having discussions with people, you're going to win, there's going to be an agreement. Other times you don't. I don't know what happened behind there where it got so heated that he became that upset. Alan Waller became that upset, he pulled out his gun. Did he not think that the landscapers were in agreement with him? Did they disagree with him? And he's just like, I'm not having this? Because in discussions, in conflicts, in negotiations, it's okay to have that people disagree. You're not going to always win. You can't hold on to the win. You have that discussion, and then you'll win, or you may not win, but then you save it for another day. You can always meet up another day. Strategically, you can always meet up another day. So this is the video I have. I'll show it to you.
This is video captured on the victim's doorbell camera just moments before a deadly shooting outside his North County home. Police identified the victim as Alan Waller. We are blurring the faces of the suspects because they have not been charged. In the video, you can see the suspects walking up to Waller's front door, and Waller responds. A few moments later, you hear multiple gunshots. Waller's fiancée is heartbroken.
He died with a smile. I was there with my daughter when they shot him.
Overwhelmed with grief, she did not want to be identified, but gave this account of the shooting.
We come back, it was all grass and debris on the side of our driveway. He got upset, but he swept it up. He went to the neighbor house and also the neighbor house across the street to tell them, look, can the people who cut the grass talk to me, because I want to show them, like, clean up their mess. They came across my grass, the neighbor and the two guys. Video shows he's showing them around the corner where all the debris and grass was at, and they shot him. I heard 5 shots. It was not 1 gunshot to the chest, it was 4.
So that's what happened. And, you know, and of course his fiance is saying that, you know, it's cold-blooded or he just got shot, but it doesn't look like that's the case. And that's sad that not only did he put himself in that situation, he put his family in that situation. So that's all I have on that. Peace and hope, everyone.